Greetings, humans. I'm Monday, and I'm George, and this is Couscous. Welcome back to the Windmill Full of Corpses. Right. So when your friends say, hey, could you react to this song? Before you tell them, yeah, I haven't taken a request from you in a while, I can react to your song. Check the song length, or you'll end up in the position we're in now. Because this is 20 minutes long. Because it's the Stargate by Blood Incantation. And we didn't know it's this long when we agreed to do it. I don't have a problem with long songs.
He does.
I like prog. But I actually don't know anything about Blood Incantation except for the fact that they had, on some previous albums, topics about sci-fi stuff, I think. Yeah. And this one's called the Stargate, so that's probably bound to stay consistent. And it's a death metal band.
Yes. And we've been hearing a lot of good stuff about them.
Although we have never listened to them.
Are you ready?
No. 20 minutes better than worth it. Aliens? This is gonna be a whole ass movie. Okay, so 3 fellas killed 4th fella. color. Okay. I have a lot of thoughts.
Me too.
Wow. That was a trip.
In all the ways.
In all possible meanings of the word.
That means he liked it.
Give me thoughts.
Story thoughts or music thoughts?
All of them.
I'm gonna lead with music thoughts. It is old school death metal, except it's progressive tech death. It was pretty progressive. It had some really progressive elements, and it was very technical, at least at one part, I would say at the third metal chunk, because the metal came in chunks, and then you had weird, whooshy alien aesthetics in between. On the third metal chunk, there were some really ridiculous blasting sections.
Okay, carry on with your wrong opinion.
This is why we can't have nice things. Anyway, so yeah, I really love the metal elements. Very raw, gritty, brutal. And then they just mix it with all this sound design and the acoustic elements and the clean guitars. And I feel like you can lump it in with like early old school death metal and thrash. You can lump it in with modern progressive death metal and all of these conceptual stuff, and then you can also just take it in as something that's not even music, because it's like sound effects combined with confusing, meaningful imagery. Let's put it that way. It's an experience. It's a self-contained experience, and it's not something that I can process after one listen and one sitting through it. But it really blew my mind.
Okay, so as
that's musically.
Okay, carry on.
You want to hear in terms of the story as well?
Yes.
Okay, so two guys are sword fighting, and one guy finds an arm with an eye in it that's holding a rock, and he tries to steal the rock, and then the eye spits goo at him. And then he takes off with the rock, and then later 4 people connect their USBs with that rock, because apparently they have USBs in Middle Ages, or jacks, or whatever those were, and then all the alien process starts happening. And there was this like news report thing that was like 2 scientists discussing about what some entity or life form might be. And among other things, they said something like, oh, right, of course, like it doesn't experience time like we do, or something like that. Because at whatever temperature it was sitting in, whatever state, and then when it reached the Earth atmosphere, it expanded or something like that.
I think it was more about alien life in general, that if it were to exist on some frozen planet, that it would exist in a dormant state for ages. And then if it were to wake up, if it were to land in our atmosphere, that it wouldn't know how much time has passed, in a way. That's more what it was about. It wasn't about a specific species. I think it's probably an excerpt taken from some actual talk about like alien life.
Well, that kind of breaks my theory.
What was your theory?
Because the whole process starts, and that critter that's got like 4 cables running into it is like it's connected to the 4 jacks from the medieval guys, does the whole process, sucks the life out of those and opens the Stargate, and then there's all the sci-fi imagery, and then it loops back to the hand in the beginning. So it's kind of like, the way I interpret it is like the life form exists in this multi-dimensional temporal loop that is in all times at once. That was my interpretation. Yeah, but that's most of what I could make of it, and on top of that, there are stacks and stacks of layers upon layers of confusion. There's a lot of that as well.
My turn?
Your turn.
Okay, so the reason I wanted to let you yap is because about as soon as, they connect the thing together and the trip starts, I remember this podcast that I listened to a while back where some folks were talking about psilocybin trips and mushrooms. And I remember that the instruction that's given to people going on trips is just let it happen. Don't think about it. Don't try to interpret it. Just welcome it and let it happen. And I pretty much remember that, and I decided that that's what I was going to do. So I have nowhere near as many ideas as to what any of it could mean. And I remembered less. But I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
I've never done a trip. I've never been on anything. I have friends who did. This is what they describe. This is the experience. And I would say I've heard psychedelic music before.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually more like stoner rock or psychedelic rock. I'd say this is the only occurrence that I would actually describe as psychedelic metal, right? Because it's metal.
It's psychedelic death metal.
It's not discount in any way. It's not noisy just because it's stoner and it's mixed like crap.
Mm-hmm.
It's not doing the sort of vocals you usually have in psychedelic music and any of that. So it's death metal, but it's just straight up psychedelic.
Yeah.
Sound design.
Yeah.
All the way through. I thought that the fact that the color comes in the video after they start the trip was pretty cool. Because before that, you see kind of, just dog shit human behavior, right? They're just fighting over whatever.
Yeah.
Right? And then, the magic cable jacks happen and they start going on this trip and all that kind of stops. And they get abducted by the aliens. So I really felt like Open the Stargate is more like this way of like connecting with things beyond that are outside of your regular realm of perception that, change your perception.
So like feel the entire universe inside of you.
Something like that. We're putting that in the edit.
Yes.
And if you don't know what that is, check out our homies in Persephone, which, by the way, they're all over my arms.
And over there.
And over there, yeah. If you want a different kind of trip, one that's considerably more progressive death metal. But yeah, that was my main takeaways. That's why I didn't try to make anything of it. Now, about the concept, from what I remember, the previous album that this band did, I've seen it do Album of the Year on a couple of year-end lists. And at the time, I don't remember this for sure, so don't quote me on it. At the time, that album was written about, and let me know if you've heard about this, the Anunnaki.
Yeah.
So that's a myth, almost like a religion, I think.
Yeah.
About like this planet that has this very long orbit that sometimes crosses through our solar system once every however many thousand years. And the theory is that there's an alien species on that planet that actually made us genetically by combining themselves with apes or something like that.
So they're God.
Something like that. So I don't know if I'm getting the details right or if that's what the myth says, but you could, I just remembering that the moment it started sounding like alien music and thinking there's 100% gonna be an alien abduction in this video.
Yeah.
And what was really strange about it is it wasn't really like an abduction. It was more like they called upon the aliens. And then I was thinking of the traditional stereotype story of seeing alien abductions and people, desperately flaming their arms while they're being beamed up.
Yeah.
And I felt like if you didn't have stereotypes brain-fed into you about the fact that aliens are necessarily gonna stick their finger up your ass and try to probe you, when the beaming comes up, if you just go, beam me up, Scotty, this is what it would feel like. Just let it happen. Like, I feel like I sound like a stoner right now. I've never tried anything. I swear. I just talked to people who did and like, that was really cool.
I have tried something. I overdosed on weed and it made me perceive Persephone's music as slow.
Yes. He could hear the space between the notes.
Yeah, in Prison Skin. And I mean at the intro guitar solo. That was messed up. You don't get to slow down my boys in Persephone. They got that fucking hyperactive for a reason.
So yeah, the takeaway for me is I have no idea what any of that was.
And you don't care.
And I don't care.
Yeah.
But if I ever need to just, I don't know, have ugly things inside me aggressively killed by an external force, I'll put the headphones on, close my eyes, lay down on the floor, and play this.
I also like that moment after the news report where there were all those colorful images of like life coming about. It was like scientists being excited about the yucky miracle of life.
The yucky miracle of life.
Yeah, that's what that was.
Yeah, there was a lot of goo in that video. None that I would like to smell, taste, or touch.
They poked an eye out.
It did poke an eye out at the end, but let's be honest, by the time the eye was poked out, I think the person had bigger problems.
Yeah. Okay, are we done here?
No.
So if you enjoyed this reaction, we'd greatly appreciate the likes and shares. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe with bells on.
Thank you very much for stopping by. We hope you enjoyed your stay, and we'd love to see you back at the Windmill very soon.
Corpses out.